Your mind is your enemy. The truth monks don't want you to know. The first light of dawn brushed the mountain peaks as young apprentice Ren sat by the temple pond. The water lay perfectly still, mirroring the sky with a clarity that seemed almost impossible. Yet inside Ren, there was no peace. His mind swirled like a storm. Thoughts, worries, memories, fears. He had come to the monastery seeking inner calm, but after months of silence, fasting, and meditation, the tempest remained. "Master," he said one morning, "I've done everything you taught me. I meditate, I breathe, I fast. Yet my mind won't quiet. It's as if it hates me." The elderly Master Kaien looked at him silently. Then he picked up a small stone and tossed it into the pond. The ripples expanded slowly until they vanished. "Do you see this?" Kaien asked. "The stone is your mind. The water is your being. You think the problem is the pond, but it was the stone you threw." Ren frowned, confused. "So, my enemy is me?" Kaien smiled faintly. "No, your enemy is what you think you are." Ren didn't fully understand. But Kaien rose and said before leaving, "When you truly meet your mind, you will see. It is the one creating your prison, and also the key to your freedom." Alone, Ren listened to the whispering pines, realizing for the first time that perhaps he didn't truly want to tame his mind, because he feared knowing it. The real battle is never with the world, but with the voice that interprets it. In the days that followed, Ren avoided the master. Frustration and doubt clouded him. He had come seeking silence, yet now he heard more noise than ever. While sweeping the temple courtyard, his mind repeated, "You're not made for this. You'll never master yourself. You are a failure." Each thought was an invisible blow. The more he tried to quiet his mind, the louder it screamed. One afternoon, he threw down the broom and sank to his knees. "Why can't I stop this?" he whispered in anger. "I just want peace." A soft voice answered behind him. "What if peace isn't about stopping anything?" It was Master Kaien. He sat beside him without speaking. For a long while, they listened to the rustling bamboo and the distant sound of flowing water. Finally, Kaien spoke. "Your mind is not your enemy, Ren. It is a tool, but you have allowed it to use you instead." Ren lifted his eyes. "How do I stop being its slave?" Kaien held an empty cup before him. "Look at this cup. It is empty, and that is why it can be filled. If it were full, nothing could enter. Your mind is too full of I. There is no space to see what truly is." Ren watched silently, understanding that he did not need to fight his mind, only to observe it without obedience. That night, sitting quietly in the temple, he realized the battle was not with his mind, but with the illusion of control it had created. When you stop fighting your thoughts, you discover they were never your enemy, just passing clouds in a sky that has always been calm. That night, Ren chose not to meditate as usual. He didn't sit perfectly, didn't close his eyes forcefully, didn't try to control his breath. He simply sat. The chirping of crickets filled the air. The wind stirred the cherry trees. And there, amidst it all, Ren began to observe what he had always tried to escape. His own mind. First came the thoughts of fear. What if I never change? What if I'm wasting my life here? What if the master is wrong? Then memories surfaced. Childhood, his mother, laughter, guilt, losses, and after that, silence. Not empty silence, but a silence filled with understanding. For the first time, Ren did not judge what passed through his mind. He did not push it away, did not shape it, did not fight. He simply watched and let it flow like water in the pond. Hours later, Kaien passed by and saw him still sitting, a faint smile on his lips. Today you have learned the first secret few monks teach, the master said. You don't master your mind. You embrace it. Ren whispered. So, the mind is not the enemy. The enemy is resisting what it shows. Kaien nodded. Exactly. What you resist pursues you. What you accept dissolves. Ren breathed deeply. Something inside him began to soften, like snow melting in the sun. When you observe your mind without fear, you realize it never wanted to harm you. It only wished to be understood. In the following days, Ren walked differently, no longer in a rush to reach enlightenment, but with the calm step of one who no longer chases anything. Each morning, while washing temple bowls, he felt his mind attempt to distract him. Recalling the past, imagining the future, inventing worries. But now he simply smiled. I see you, mind, he thought, and returned to the present. One afternoon, helping Kaien prune the garden, he asked, Master, if the mind is not the enemy, why do so many monks teach that we must control it? Kaien, cutting a dry branch, replied, because it is easier to teach fighting than understanding. Control gives the illusion of power. Understanding brings true freedom. Ren looked curious. And what happens when we understand the mind? The master lifted the branch. When you see the mind as it is, the root of suffering is cut. There is no need to win or lose. The mind becomes your ally, a river flowing with you, not against you. The wind scattered cherry petals around them. Ren saw one drift onto the water, carried effortlessly. In that instant, he understood. Peace is not silencing the mind, but letting it speak without becoming its echo. The wise do not destroy their mind. They learn to listen without being swept away. Then they become their own refuge. Time began to dissolve for Ren. Days and nights passed unnoticed. The temple's routine, bells, chants, silence, continued, yet something inside him was forever changed. Then one afternoon, his mind struck fiercely. Sitting before the pond, a torrent of self-doubt flooded him. You are not progressing. Everyone else advances. The master expects more than you can give. You are unworthy. The calm he had cultivated seemed to vanish. His heart raced. Fear returned. For a moment he wanted to flee. Run from the temple, run from himself. But he remembered Kaien's words. What you resist pursues you. Instead of fleeing, he stayed. He closed his eyes and observed the chaos within. Without judgment, without correction, without denial. Just compassion. Then he realized the thoughts were never the enemy. The resistance to them was. Every act of fighting increased suffering. Every act of acceptance dissolved it. Opening his eyes, Ren gazed at his reflection in the pond. The water was no longer perfectly still. Wind had disturbed it, distorting the image. But for the first time, he did not wish the water to calm. It's okay to have movement, he thought. The water is still water, even with ripples. Kaien approached, silently observing. I see you no longer demand the pond to be still, he said. Ren nodded. I've learned I cannot silence my mind, but I can stop feeding it. Kaien smiled. When you stop feeding it, it quiets on its own. Fire dies without more wood. The wind lifted leaves around them. Ren closed his eyes. For the first time, there was no striving, no fear, only deep gratitude. Kaien spoke softly. When you understand this, every moment becomes your teacher. Every thought, every emotion, every breath shows you the path back to yourself. That night, under the stars, Ren sought no answers. He let the sky embrace him in silence. When you stop fighting your mind, you find the stillness that was always beneath the noise. That stillness is you. Time seemed to flow differently for Ren. Days blended into one another, measured only by the soft ringing of temple bells, the shifting light over the courtyard, and the gentle rustle of bamboo leaves. One afternoon, however, his mind struck with unusual force. Sitting by the pond, a surge of anxiety filled him. "You are failing. You will never master your mind. The master expects too much." The stillness he had found seemed to vanish. His heart raced. Doubt returned like a storm. For a moment he considered leaving, running away from himself. Then he remembered Kaien's words. "What you resist pursues you." Instead of fleeing, Ren remained. He closed his eyes and let the storm pass before him. He observed without judgment, without trying to fix, without denial. He welcomed each thought like a visitor, offering nothing but compassion. And then he understood, the mind itself is not the enemy. The true enemy is resistance. The ripples of self-doubt gradually softened. Acceptance acted like sunlight melting frost. Looking into the pond again, Ren noticed the water moving, reflections breaking and reforming. For the first time, he didn't wish the water to be perfectly still. "It's okay," he thought. "Movement does not destroy the essence." Kaien walked quietly behind him and said, "I see you no longer demand perfection from the pond." Ren nodded. "I realize I cannot silence the mind, but I can stop feeding it." Kaien smiled. "Then you have discovered freedom. Let the mind speak. Do not let it command." The wind lifted petals from the cherry trees, scattering them across the water. Ren closed his eyes. No striving, no fear, only deep gratitude. When you stop resisting, your mind no longer controls you. It becomes your mirror and your guide. That night, Ren woke before dawn. The temple was asleep. Only the faint chirp of crickets and the rustle of leaves accompanied him. He walked slowly up the stone path leading to a hill behind the temple. The moon hung low, silvering the landscape. His mind tried one last time to speak. "It's too early. You should be asleep. You are not ready." Ren smiled. He no longer argued. He simply listened, like one listening to a distant river. Each step became meditation, each breath a reconciliation. At the hilltop, the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, painting the sky in gold and pink. Ren sat, letting the warmth kiss his face. And then it came, an understanding deeper than words. His mind was not an enemy or an obstacle. It was a part of the whole. Like day and night, like tide and calm, it was merely a movement within existence. Kaien appeared quietly, sitting beside him. He said nothing at first, only shared the dawn. Finally, he whispered, "Many think enlightenment is a sudden light, but in truth, it is when you stop fighting the darkness." Ren nodded in silence. "The truth that few speak," Kaien continued, "is that the mind does not need to be defeated. It only needs to be understood. There is no enemy, only ignorance. And when the light of understanding enters, the darkness fades on its own." The wind lifted petals, carrying them into the sunlight. Ren watched, and in that movement he felt the same harmony inside him. There was no inside or outside, no him and mind, only presence. The sun rose higher. The storm within him had ceased. When you make peace with your mind, life itself becomes your teacher, and every moment your sanctuary. Days passed. The temple resumed its gentle rhythm. Bells, chants, silence, and whined through the pines. But Ren was changed forever. He no longer sought enlightenment as a prize, nor calm as a refuge. He found it in the smallest things. The steam rising from his tea, the song of a bird, the brush of the wind against his skin. His mind still spoke as it always had, but now he listened without fear. Sometimes he laughed at its attempts to distract him. Other times, He simply breathed and let it pass, like clouds crossing the sky. One morning, while gathering fallen leaves with Kaien, Ren asked quietly, "Master, if the mind is not the enemy, then what are we?" Kaien let the rake fall and gazed toward the horizon. "We are the space in which the mind arises. We are the sky. The mind is the wind. Sometimes it blows softly, sometimes fiercely, but the sky never breaks." Ren closed his eyes. That image was enough. All along, he had feared the storms of the mind, not realizing he was the sky holding them. Kaien continued, "The truth that few dare to say is this: the mind is not your enemy. It only shows you what you have yet to understand. When that understanding arises, suffering fades naturally." The wind lifted petals in a gentle dance. Ren watched, feeling the same natural rhythm inside himself. No boundaries, no separation, only presence. That evening, as the sun sank behind the mountains, Ren returned to the pond where it had all begun. The water reflected warm hues, petals floating serenely. He did not look for his reflection. He simply listened to the wind, to the life around him, to the stillness that embraced everything. At last, he realized the enemy he had feared never existed. It had been his mind trying to protect him, unaware that he was already safe. He smiled, he breathed, and in that moment, without effort, he found true peace. Your mind is not your enemy. It is a guardian revealing the path to silence. When you stop fighting it, you discover the simple truth: you have always been at peace.